Welcome to the Second Intercontinental Youth Forum of the Interfaith Dialogue on Violent Extremism, iDove. This is the second forum of iDove. The first forum took place in 2017, also in the African Union Commission. This forum this year will again tackle violent extremism and will again be led by youth, and it is a bottom-up approach. Pillars of iDove include academics and policymakers, creatives, in addition to technology.
One of the main important things to discuss is the role technology plays when it comes to preventing violent extremism. There's a lot of misconceptions around the continent that just because there's not a lot of internet penetration or that you can't get access to internet as widely as you can in Europe, that the online element of radicalization doesn't happen. But actually that's quite a misconception, because most of us have a mobile phone and have some level of degree connected to the internet. So what my debate is going to be talking about is that how can we use technology to ensure that we're building resilience amongst young people, but also within the communities.
We talked about how social media affects at-risk people and people who are joining violent extremist groups, and how it's a double-edged sword, and that it can be used to spread propaganda about violent extremism, or that it can solve the problem of violent extremism and de-radicalize youth.
I presented specifically on social media campaigns and the use of data to understand and better design, develop, and then disseminate social media campaigns in specific contexts.
مشاركتي حتكون عن الألعاب وتأثيرها، كيف ممكن الألعاب اللوحة البورد جيم تؤثر في موضوع التوعية بالتطرف العنيف. الألعاب لها تأثير قوي، لها قدرة عالية على تغيير سلوك اللاعبين أو المشاركين. بيستطيع الناس إيجاد حلول عبر الألعاب، بيتكلم ناس من ثقافات مختلفة وأديان مختلفة من دول مختلفة بيتناقشوا حول نفس المشكلة.
One story here that touched my heart happened to be of that Omar Malbokus from Mauritius, who is based in London now. He was a former extremist. He had been with 3 different extremist groups for 14 years, but now he's changed. He goes into prisons to help rehabilitate people who have extremist tendencies.
What I presented today about the pathways of recruitment, root cause of violence and extremism, and looking at motivation of an individual. How do they get involved? What are the different ways they enter, and where was the seed planted from the beginning?
When we look at gender, what's really important is to recognise that it's not just about women, but it's also about men. So we're asking questions about what makes somebody a man in a violent extremist group, what makes someone a woman in a violent extremist group, and how can we disrupt some of those stories about womanhood and masculinity.
So we have 40 youth from Africa and Europe. Of course, having so many youth in the room, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of enthusiasm, there's a lot of inspiration. We have some of the old iDovers, and I think their experiences has helped create even more energy in that room.
And iDove managed to get practitioners in one room from different languages, from English all the way to French and Arabic. And it was great to see how people are working in different parts of the world. Culture, faith, non-faith, narrative, ideology. So putting all that together so we can able to find a way, an exit strategy, a solution.
It's not just a talking shop. The participants have been able to gain some real skills in developing their own projects and in thinking about new projects.
We're facilitating a design thinking workshop, which is about human-centered design and bringing up innovative ideas. Because it's way too often that people go to somewhere, they fly around the world, they talk, but they don't get into doing. So iDove is doing a great step and bringing people into doing, into action, and bringing up solutions. And I really like that.
I would also say that what's really unique and special about iDove is the way in which the youth participants are coming together, and there's peer-to-peer learning. So they're learning from each other, and we're seeing young people as resources, as valuable, and not just as risks and vulnerabilities and threats.
What makes iDove unique is that iDove is actually driven by the youth from Europe and Africa. It's not us organizers, it's the youth themselves.
Résoudre ce problème sans fonder ça sur la jeunesse. C'est pour cela que j'ai trouvé que iDove est une très bonne initiative. C'est une bonne initiative parce que ça permet aux jeunes de prendre leurs responsabilités. Ça permet aux jeunes de ne pas toujours attendre l'État.
I think the grassroots-led initiative is also quite unique. They are people from the communities, they're the doers, and I think that's a big distinction from other initiatives.
I chanced upon iDove through a link sent to me for another program by a friend, and I went through the link and it's very, very exciting, very, very captivating. The idea is to bring people of different faiths together to sit on the same table to discuss issues concerning peace and security and preventing violent extremism. And basically that's what I'm in, and that's what my religion of Islam calls to. So I felt the need to apply.
One of the reasons why I applied to iDove is so that I can network and collaborate with people that have done projects that prevent violent extremism in various parts of the world. I've done my fair share. I published a book called Somali Sideways. And basically it's about talking about Somalis that have contributed to society around the world, members of the diaspora. And I want to change the perception on how the world views Somali region.
When I applied for the iDove, I was really interested in learning about gender and the role of gender in building peace. And also really like our organization is growing into working in border regions and areas of refugees where basically there is no governance at all, and I wanted to know from people who have worked there what has worked, what has not worked. When I came here, I found a lot of expertise, a lot of people who have held projects here, and very informative. I've really learned a lot.
Being a part of this conference is a very life-changing experience for me, because as an iDove, the first experience I had was to gain knowledge and take back into my community, where I organized training for PVE, and also being a part and meeting the new iDovers and the energies that they have to go back into their communities and create a change. It's a great life-changing opportunity for me.
And as well as the Second Intercontinental Youth Forum is a great opportunity for myself to really build on the previous skills and good practices I learned in the previous iDove, and also kind of develop a strong partnership for future projects with iDove. The previous project gave me a chance to partner with iDovers, and I hope this one will also certainly give me that chance to kind of partner again.
And I'm inspired and empowered to now go and work in governance spaces. So I'm happy. I met a lot of people. The workshop was very informative, very practical too, because it's not usually that you take home something, but it's like very, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this.
Connection was also very, very, very important. I met people who were willing and open to listen and then take pieces of advice.
The program that I was going through was very detailed, and I've learned a lot. And that was my expectation in the beginning, and my expectations were met.
سعيدة جدا بالتجربة وبالانضمام، وبتمنى إن شاء الله إنه الألعاب يكون لها مستقبل أكبر وأكثر في حلول المشكلات اللي بتواجه مجتمعاتنا والتحديات اللي بتواجهنا كلنا كشباب.
I picked a lot, and I'm looking forward to go back to my country and try to implement some of the things that I've studied here.
Just a few days ago, we received recognition from the Paris Peace Forum that we received the prize. It's a forum that has implementers and policymakers and heads of state, and they recognize initiatives that make impact, initiatives that are new, that are unique, and that create impact, and we received the recognition for that. I look forward to having this conversation a year later to see what iDove has reached, and I believe that it would really be the most unique approach that we have there for PVE. I hope that next year I'll say the same thing, and that iDove was better than the year before.